That is one fucked up vegetable. She's actually a fruit. That is one fucked up fruit. Carved is a Hulu original written and directed by Justin Harding and written by Cheryl Meyer and takes place on Halloween night 1993 at a historic pioneer village and was with Hulu originals and taking place in 93-94. This is the second one that has come out this month. Like Mr. Crockett. Speaking of which, the man that played Mr. Crockett himself, Elvis, is back in this. No, not Elvis Presley, but Elvis Nolasco, who actually was the best part of Mr. Crockett. He has a brief role in this. And yes, you have a historic pioneer village that is besieged by a chemically enhanced killer pumpkin. That's your lot right there. You have some characters that I guess in a sense are supposed to be people that you're supposed to root for or against, or you're just supposed to wonder how in the world any of these particular people were able to get out of bed without any help, without falling and cracking their goddamn skulls open like a freshly carved pumpkin. Yeah, I'm not going to mix words here. As a comedy horror, this doesn't feature any comedy or any horror. It features, at best, basic gore effects, and at worst, some bargain basement bullshit, the likes of which I have not seen in quite a while. Now, granted, this is not by any means the worst movie I've seen this year. It might not even crack the top 25, but it is certainly very, very basic, very bland, and very, very annoying because characters constantly make stupid goddamn decisions. There are barely any, motivations for why people want to do what they want to do. And yeah, it's a killer pumpkin. You would have thought that would have been at least something to carry a short film, but oh ho ho, this was based on a short film and it should have stayed as a short film. I'm all for people getting a chance to flesh out their vision, but if this was it fleshed out, it should have stayed as a compact short film. To be quite honest, had this been part of the, upcoming 8th VHS movie, I might have been okay with it. You could have made this 15 minutes and it would have been fine. But God, the character motivations are stupid. God, my God, the writing is absolutely dog shit. It's not even funny in a bit of a slapstick way. Like, this is just really, really bad. Chris Elliott's in this. DJ Qualls is in this. DJ Qualls is just a funny name to me. The heroes of this particular thing, you have Corey Fogelmanis, who plays Cody, and you have Kira, played by Peyton Elizabeth Lee. Who I'm trying to think about where I recognize her from, and you know what? There was a Mountain Dew ad that played before various movies at the local Regal Theater that I frequent, and I think that was her. If not, a dead ringer. Maybe she has a twin. So, yeah, you have Elvis playing a reporter. He grabs a knife because the killer pumpkin is on loose. They fucked with the wrong reporter, and yeah, it doesn't necessarily end well for him. And then we go to earlier that day, and then we see the pumpkin carving, and then we see the killer pumpkin get there via a corn wagon. Keep an eye on your cornhole, bud. That's Chris Elliott, and then a character named Clint. Not Clint Howard, as hilarious as that would have been. And there's not really a ton of star power in this. You don't really need that if you have at least halfway decent, pacing and some good-natured ribbing and whatnot, but this doesn't even have that. There's no comedy, there's no horror. This might have belonged in, the 90s, had it come out in the 90s, but trying to replicate the 90s. At least Mr. Crockett sort of got some of that right, because Elvis was absolutely sinking his teeth, his mind, body, and soul into that role. Nobody, however, can carry this slop. So it's on Hulu if you want to check it out. I'm going to get spoilers. 3, 2, 1, spoilers. So yeah, Elvis gets killed, kind of hilariously, gets his head taken off. And then we go to earlier that day where AJ's running a reporting piece, and there was a chemical spill that basically caused mutations with some of the crops. At least we see that a little bit later on, but only with this particular pumpkin. I guess it was all just dumped on that one spot, and all the other pumpkins just grew up elsewhere. So, Kim and Cody are our heroes in the sense that they get the most screen time. There's a little boy named Trevor that's super annoying. I mean the character, I don't mean the actor. And 22 minutes in, after a pumpkin carving contest, we get the gore effects starting, and oh boy. Again, low budget or not, don't go beyond your budget because this stuff is really bad. You have Ted Ferguson who's in this. And he's been in quite a few things. He gives this big old speech straight out of the Samuel Jackson Deep Blue Sea playbook, and then he gets killed. But animals don't hold grudges. I do. I'm going to hold a grudge against this goddamn movie because this is a fucking fiasco. There's a character named Maddie that seems to know a whole lot more about, how pumpkins are and everything, and that vegetables and fruits and everything are actually living creatures. Maddie's played by Sasha Mason, who I recognize from a couple things. And there's also a guy named Kev that is a poorly written character that ends up getting killed at one point. And it turns out Bill DJ Qualls' character, him and Kev were together, and had they explored a little bit more of that and just given us a reason to care about these characters, it might have mattered. Again, I am all for comedy and I'm all for using stuff to play for laughs, but when you have no laughs to begin with, you really should have just abandoned the project or maybe done a rewrite or done a write in general, because I'm not convinced people actually wrote this movie, because if they did, I don't think too many people actually talk like this. So yes, Trevor is a goddamn idiot, but he participated in the carving contest. It gets revealed that the pumpkin is only going after the people that did the carving, and anybody that gets in the way, they're collateral damage. At one point, Cody goes to get his goddamn keys. This is after Kev, by the way, before he got killed, was using a rubber band because he had his leg all cut. He was using bands to launch walkie-talkies to pretend, to be a voice elsewhere, to have this pumpkin chase around. And look, again, I know, low budget, but God, these special effects. Not even like, oh, that's funny. Like, oh, God, really? Really? This isn't emulating the 90s? Just made me want to emulate the 90s and burn the decade to the ground. Outrunning a killer pumpkin really shouldn't be that hard. It does have tendrils or tentacles. And it's attacking people stupidly because everybody just stands there instead of running from the pumpkin. And the corn wagon thing, this big old truck, there's this slight running gag between Chris Elliott and the guy that plays Clint. I didn't write his name down. I don't care. Nothing against the actors. But there was this thing, you got to treat the truck with love. You got to do this. Also, I don't know why Chris Elliott was talking the way he was. I mean, I think he was just putting on a character. But nevertheless, these effects basically just continue to occasionally occur. We kind of just, I guess we're supposed to laugh to avoid crying or hating ourselves for watching Carved. So, yeah, basically Trevor is the last target because he was the last one to participate in all this. But Clint then gets dragged to his house where all these pumpkin carvings are seen. And no, we love pumpkins. We even make pumpkin pie. Shit, I shouldn't have told you that. And then Clint is used as an avatar. Yeah. And Chris Elliott manages to shoot the pumpkin once and then shoots his son or his cousin for all we goddamn know. But then he gets killed. A great role there. So, there were ideas here, like the pumpkin using humans as avatars or using whatever, or taking over people and using them. Like, you could make something out of this, but this movie barely comes alive. And also the pumpkin is reproducing. Why? Why the fuck not? Maddie got killed a bit earlier. Oh ho ho, no she didn't, because she shows up near the end and actually turns out she was using this chemical spray that looked like blood, a pesticide thing, to just get away. They managed to get this baby pumpkin that's reproduced into the wood chipper, thresher, whatever, and then they get the other one in there. And we got a few minutes left, so yeah, there's a whole bunch of other baby pumpkins there that Trevor just walks right into because he's going to kill one. Instead of just saying, hey, 3 are better than 1, I'm going to be an idiot and go do that. But he almost gets killed, but then Maddie comes back because we see the aforementioned chemical stuff. And they crunch them all underneath this tractor thresher thing. Oh, yes, and by the way, there's one left. It's using Clint's head as a carving. And yeah, you really fucking think you deserve a goddamn sequel. Eat shit, Carved. This was terrible. This was just, it wasn't even fun. It wasn't even fun in a semi-thyronic way. It was just really bad. It gets an F. Again, not even on the worst list of the year. Because I've seen so much shit, but this is bargain basement shit. Anyway, agree, disagree, what I said, like, share, subscribe, Twitter handle in the description. I'm John Ritland. I'll see you soon.